So I've been coming to the Egegik River for 15 years now. It's one of the best rivers, if not the best Coho River I've ever fished in Alaska. And this is my 31st year of fishing throughout Alaska. Lived here almost 9 years, and I keep searching for something better. I haven't quite found it. There's some good rivers out there, don't get me wrong. But as far as the Egegik River, being able to fish it multiple ways, being able to fish it whether you're a new angler or an aging angler, it's a very easy river to fish. The banks are very gentle with small gravel, small rocks, and there are a lot of fish that come through here. You'll catch them casting plugs, casting spinners, casting bobber and jig, bobber and bait, bobber and beads, drifting eggs. We were catching them on tuna balls the other day, and twitching jigs. There's just any way you want to learn how to fish. Fly fish, fishing surface poppers with a fly rod or with a spinning rod. This is an outstanding river to do that. If you're looking to learn new techniques, there's no better way to learn them than when you're catching fish. And right here on the Egegik River is a place I've been booking trips for the last several years. You can go to my website, scotthaugen.com. That's SCOTTHAUGEN.com. Not only will you find some booking information there on Becharof Lodge, or the Egegik River rather, but you'll also find several books. I have one on egg curing. I have one called 300 Tips to Salmon and Steelhead. If that one's out, you can go through Frank Amato Publication. We also have bank fishing salmon and steelhead, which widely applies to this right here. A lot of general information for beginners and some tips for advanced anglers as well. And of course, my wife, Tiffany Haugen, longtime STS columnist, cooking columnist, she has several cookbooks out there, including smoking salmon and steelhead, cooking salmon and steelhead, and her latest book, seafood, cooking seafood, an excellent one. I love taste testing for those things. So if you're looking to come to Alaska, believe me, 31 years of being up here, I've done the legwork for you. This is a great camp. It's not a big fancy lodge. It's not a $10,000 lodge where they're going to fluff your pillows and you know, have all the bells and whistles of a big lodge. But I can tell you what, between the fishing and the food, it greatly surpasses some of what you get at some of those more expensive lodges. So you get up here, you get to experience this beautiful river and this incredible part of Alaska. Again, there's a reason I keep coming back. Check it out on my website, and you'll be glad that you came up here once you start catching fish.
Today we're here at the Egegik River at Becharof Lodge, viewing wildlife in the outdoors. It is incredible what you can see. Blending in with the countryside is a native Scott Haugen. As you can see, he crawls closer to his prey, using his only weapon, a large, overly expensive camera lens. As he looks at the ptarmigan, he takes more and more pictures that he will undoubtedly upload on a hard drive and take back to his natural cave. As the ptarmigan move on, Scott Haugen will move with them. Has he fallen asleep? We're not sure.
Fishing has been hot. I was acting like an auctioneer. We got 2, we got 3 now, we got 3, we got 4, let's get 5. Boom, I got 5. It was pretty fun, okay?
Late 60s, early 70s, and you would go out drift fishing, and then if you didn't like that, you'd drift fish. If you didn't like that, you'd drift fish, and then you'd drift fish some more. So drift fishing, if you want to learn how to drift fish, if you're kind of new to the world of salmon and steelhead fishing, drift fishing is still my favorite way, and I'll tell you why. I think it's very, very important for anglers to know about the bottom structure in the rivers they fish. You want to know the degradation of the stream, you want to know the current flow, you want to know where the seams are, you want to know where the rocks are and the individual rocks, and even how big they are. So you can feel the size of the rocks, you can feel if you're in grass, obviously, you can feel sand, small gravel. And basically, when you have a, you know, like the rods they have nowadays, you know, very sensitive, great for telegraphing what's going on. People say, do you like fish with a slinker? A sinky slinker? Is that a slinker? Did I just invent a word? A slinker. We're going slinker fishing, boys. So you can fish with a slinky sinker, which is more of a gradual drag across the bottom, I guess. I'd say if I really want to learn a river and what the bottom structure is going to be like, one that I'm going to fish year in and year out, I like using a pencil sinker. I've been using these Dave's tangle-free, these lead-free weights, which have been really fabulous. I've been really surprised with them. First cast I made with the bobber and jig, got one. First cast I made drift fishing, got one. So what that does is that telegraphs the message up the line. And I'm not kidding you, you'll be able to tell the size of the rocks, you know, where these fish are laying, like if you come off of a big boulder, if you're dragging through sand, whatever it is. So nothing has taught me more about the bottom structure of a river by way of fishing than drift fishing, again, with these weights. Another thing I'll do is in the summertime when the water's low, I like kind of snorkeling with a mask to see what the bottom structure is like, especially if you're talking springers where, you know, you're fishing ledges, summer steelhead where you might be fishing ledges or deeper holes, and just kind of learn where that bottom structure is. So a lot of different ways to fish. Of course, we have guys fishing spoons and spinners up here, and you know, if you're new to fishing, Alaska is a great place to come. You can catch a lot of fish right here, and you know, things will work here. Take it back home and try. I've tried so many things here that don't work. I'm not going to talk about them. You're never going to, you know, read about them anywhere. I've had people say, "Gosh, why don't you write about stuff that doesn't work?" You know, I've fished with a lot of great people out there, way better fishermen than I'll ever be. Nick Amato, Buzz Ramsey. One of the things about those guys is they're forward thinkers. You know, Buzz might come out here and fish this river, and you know, even though everyone's catching, you know, 50, 60 fish a day, he's thinking ahead. You know, what is it that's going to allow, you know, anglers to progress our techniques, to kind of fit the technology that's coming up and catch more fish. And that's kind of the way I like thinking up here in Alaska. Try stuff. If it works, great. You know, try it down back home, Oregon, Washington, Pacific Northwest. If it works there, then you're on to something. If it doesn't work here, I'm not going to waste my time with it down there. So great river. It's a lot of fun to fish. Bobber down right there. Josh, the birthday boy right here, 2 for 2, fishing a bobber and jig, spits it back out at him. That's okay. The hook set's the best thing. I don't care how old you are. Josh is like 6'10", has hands like a bear, and he's out here like a little boy watching that bobber go down. I don't care how old you are, how many years of experience you have. Everyone loves watching the bobber go down. What happened there, big guy?
Just didn't like it.
We're going to throw a little plug out there. See if we can get something. I just got one on an F4 flatfish a few minutes ago. So.
Nice.
Today, a lot of people back troll plugs from boats. But casting plugs can be really, really effective and a lot of fun. So this here is a 2.5 maglet, probably my favorite plug to cast. And I'll go to the 3.5s. I caught one on the 2.0 the other day, and I tell you, that was a lot of fun. So these fish aren't leader shy, so I tie a braid right to it. Sometimes I'll hammer it. Oftentimes you'll get a good slack line bite. And to really tell you how to fish a plug is difficult to really nail down because the rivers can be different, wind can affect it, the speed of the river, the depth of the river, the type of the river bottom you're at. So when I go into fish a river like this, obviously I'm trying to read where the seams are and where these fish might be traveling and holding. And I'll cast it, of course, the 2.5s float. So one way you can fish this thing is just on the surface, just let it float. Coho can oftentimes be very aggressive on the surface. You don't need a popper. You can just twitch this thing, it'll dive a few inches, pop right back up. Dive a few inches, pop right back up. Another thing you can do is just a slow, steady retreat. Once I feel it hitting the bottom, I'll just stop reeling, let it ride back up. And then I'll reel it down really slowly. The skip beat action in these things a lot of times will bring fish in from behind and front. You'll hook them all different parts of the mouth. Like I say, sometimes they're just chasing the thing. You just get a crazy slackline bite and they'll inhale these things. So I look at the current flow, I look at the depth, and wind is a big part of this, especially when you're in places like Alaska where it's open tundra. Alaska is just a great testing ground. When you can come up here and hook, 150, 180 fish a day, then you take them home and apply those techniques back home and see what's happening. But here we have Josh, my buddy Josh, catching one on a jig. It's Josh's birthday. Let's sing happy birthday. Kindle in your head. Yeah, but Josh is fishing a jig right here. It just has a 16th ounce jig right there with the float. Has a little inline sinker there that he has. And so I'm just floating it downstream right now to get it where I want it, so I can start to retrieve. I've been fishing a little bit out in front of me, and I'm just kind of gridding the water as I go here. So now it's down about a 45-degree angle or so. You can see my rod tip. Whatever plug you fish, whether it's a mag lip, whether it's a Hottentot, I've been doing really good with Hottentots, hot shots, any plugs, there's going to be a rhythm to them, and feel that rhythm, and you'll actually see it in your rod tip. Now, if I want to stop and float it right there, I can. I can reel it quick to make it dive. Josh hooked another one here. So he's getting out there quite a bit farther than I am, and if I wanted to switch, you know, I could.
So I'm gonna be.
Okay, so Josh pulled out of the hole there, so I was able to cast upstream a little bit higher than what I have been. So this is that 2.0 mag lip. And as soon as it hit up there, because it was drifting downstream, I just started reeling pretty quick. I wanted to get it diving. It's about 5 feet out there. So I wanted to get it diving pretty quick. Came right up and hammered the thing. And at this point, you just want to keep a tight line. Coho, if you haven't done a lot of coho fishing, they'll twirl a lot. That rod, bring that fish right up here. There you go. On the 2.0 mag lip. Beautiful little silver. Look at all those sea lice right there. Okay. That's beautiful stuff right there. I don't have my pliers. Now I just want to grab that thing. Now I want to grab its tail. So I was going to revive it, but these are hot fish. They're just out of the ocean. One thing you don't want to do is just, when the fish is on its side, just unhook it and, you know, kick it and let it go. But facing upstream right there, so I was going to hold it by the tail if I had to, but it flipped out of my hand before I could do that. So be careful when you know, even when we're catching 50, 80 fish a day here, releasing a lot of fish, you just want to be careful with those. There you go. Plug fishing for coho. It really works.
Fourth coho on the fly. Never caught a silver on a fly before today, and here on the Egegik River, made all my dreams come true. Here we are, and these things are so awesome. Like tight line grab on this switch rod. They'll let you do gear, you do fly, and I've been doing gear, and I've had to try it. And what a wonderful experience! If you're looking to catch your first salmon on a fly, I'm no good at fly fishing, but this is a great place to learn, and I am. Boy, is it fun. Got my first one there. Scott Haugen was there to help take a picture and really, oh!
Here we cast.
As long as it's okay with Dave.
These are a tad slow right now, which is unusual. Fresh tuna wrapped up in a spawn sack. Let's see what she does.
This is another thing. So when you're fishing with a bobber and jig, you know, you can take up a lot of water. Still, I know of no better way to cover water. Casting 30 yards upstream, go as far as your eyes can see the float down there, right? So now he stepped out of the hole. Now I can fish his prime water. But just be cognizant if you're in a place like this. We're all buddies, so we don't really care what's going on. But be aware of, you know, if you're fishing in front of other people here. So this is Trent up here, who Justin has dragged. He just took one. And he's drift fishing a bead right here. Now we've been doing a lot of bead fishing up here. I love the bead fishing. Being our tackle made up some 40 millimeter beads for us to try. Last year we just hammered them on the 30 millimeter bead. I'm still trying to figure out the spacing between these big beads and the fish. A lot of people say, well, you know, why in the world would you throw a 32 millimeter bead out there? It's giant. Don't think of it as a bead, think of it as an egg cluster. These fish have giant mouth. These things will swallow a 5.0 mag lip, a K16 quick fish will cut, you know, 7-inch herring out of their guts. So a big bait is not a worry with these things. So what I like about drift fishing the bead is they're neutral buoyant. So one of the biggest challenges for new drift fishermen is trying to tell you trying to figure out what the bottom is telling you. And the bead is nice because you'll bounce off the bottom once in a while, but it's going to keep you from getting hung up. So if you're looking to learn how to drift fish, maybe start with a smaller bead or a bigger bead and work your way down to a smaller bead, and then just go right to like a drift bobber. I like the little Korpi or a little spinning glow, and then you can kind of, you know, progressively, you know, get a little bit more advanced in your techniques, feeling the bite and so forth, seeing the bite sometimes before you even feel it. So it just comes down to time on the water. There's nothing like experience. And of course, there's a lot of ways to fish these things. So let's see how Josh does. So no one was above him, so he could cast a little farther out there. So I don't know if you can see it, but we have a seam right here, which I'm hitting. I like this kind of slack holding water for these mag lips because they dive in such sensitive water.
Josh just got one. I just picked one up on this beautiful 32nd ounce jig. Something I've never done for coho. I've done for steelhead and trout. Scott hauled out the 32nd ounce jigs and started cleaning up. I figured they'd work, but I didn't know they'd be this effective. And even though beads have been working great, my hookup ratio has been absolutely terrible. So it's really nice to be able to actually stick a fish when you get a bite. So this is a sassy little chromer fresh out of Bristol Bay, heading into the beautiful Egegik River. Scott Haugen and some of my friends.
Yeah, so after every trip here, people leave with a bag full of frozen vacuum packed fillets. So we're loading them up, they're heading to the float plane.
And there's mine. Give me the blues, the Becharof Lodge blues. I'm catching them fish, I'm getting my shoes wet in the river. They will deliver 50 pounds a salmon to your home.
Woo!
Oh, if you want to go to Alaska, go to Becharof, then go home.
Last fall I went to a few sportsman shows. I was looking for the best Asian carp fishing in the world. Well, we came to Becharof Lodge. It was highly recommended as one of the best along the river. And after getting here, I'm quite disappointed. Have not caught a single Asian carp all week, but I keep catching these silver things that are 10 pounds or more, and they call them cohos. I just wish there would be more carp in this river because I'm tired of throwing all these back. I've probably got 50 of them and it's not even noon.